And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Donald and Briggs.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm Donald Briggs. This is tomorrow's Testament, a show that gives you a chance to see actors doing monologues. But before we get to them, let's go ahead and talk to the judges, find out about the judges who are here to critique them. He's one of the stars of the smash hit chorus line. He can be seen in the new JetBlue commercials and is the director and the choreographer of a new musical called Romeo and Bernadette. See, I almost fell into that. I'm talking about Justin Ross, everybody. All right,
Julia does make a very brief appearance in the show.
Okay.
She does.
And that's why I said briefly, yes. Julie. So
Yes.
All right. She's an actress, producer, acting teacher known for her role as Tracy DeSanta in Grand Theft Auto 5. She's currently producing a narrative feature that she wrote and will act in called Born That Way. Please welcome Michal Sinnott. He's famed acting coach and owner of the Artist Playhouse. He's renowned for acting in such films as Howard Stern's Private Parts, Simone, and Finding Forrester. Everybody say hello to Barry Papick. Barry. All right, let's get ready for our first performer. She is doing a piece from I Ought to Be in Pictures by Neil Simon. Everybody clap your hands for Lizette Santiago.
You don't have to get me into anything. I couldn't even get a lousy kiss from you, so I sure as heck don't expect a phone call to one of your studio friends. Because from the looks of this place, you don't have their number. And I don't have to get to know you. Because I know everything about you. Mom has been telling it to me since I was 3 years old, but I'm not interested. That's between you and her. I did fine without you. And now I can manage on my own now, too. Yeah. If you don't want to help me, swell, you don't have to. I happen to know people over at Columbia Pictures like Steffi Blondell. And you can keep your homemade oranges because I like mine from Florida. And what are you? You make fun of your daughter because she talks to her dead grandmother. Yeah, I may be ditzy, but I'm not the one with the tree that grows pits. My father. Yeah. You're the last one in the world who's my father. My grandmother's my father. Boy, oh boy, huh? 16 years of dreams just down the toilet. Grandma was right. I should have listened to her. She said it. She said, once a shithill, always a shithill. The language is mine. The wisdom's hers. It must have been nuts. 3,000 miles. 3,000 miles and all I get is a glass of mud? Let me tell you something, Mr. Herbert Tucker. The one who hasn't made it in show business, it's you. It's not me. You see, because I'm on the way up, local, and you're on the way down express. It's possible. It is just possible that one day I may be up there winning my Emmy Award or my Grammy or my Oscar, whatever the hell they get out here. I'm gonna smile. Yeah. I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna say to the entire world that I want to thank everyone who helped me win this award. My grandmother, my brother Robbie, my friends, my fans, and everyone else. Except my shithill father. I think that about covers it, Steffi. I apologize for my language. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I can't say that for everyone else in this house.
Justin.
Well, you did some very beautiful work. I didn't take any notes. That didn't mean that I wasn't, thinking about what you're doing. It's just that I was very, very caught up in your interpretation of this young woman. What I was thinking, though, is because I've been waiting all season long for somebody to do some Neil Simon.
Really?
I mean, we've had, Shakespeare and Moliere and original monologues. It's like, where's Neil Simon? Our the contemporary bard of our generation, at least our generation. It's great writing, but there's a certain tone to it, and it's a fine line. And I thought that you crossed it at the beginning just a little much. I could see the anger, the intensity of it made me feel like you were doing a different writer's work. And I could see how it could be interpreted that way. Yet, when you did drop into the ease and the ironic tone of Neil Simon halfway through, then I enjoyed the piece much more, and I enjoyed your characterization more.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I really agree with you, Justin. I think you have such a natural charisma. You're so cute. Yeah, I mean, and you brought, that sort of wide-eyed wonder that this character needs, thinking about coming to your dad all your life I don't know the play, but what I get from it, and I know Neil Simon, is, this, you've probably been waiting to talk to this man like your whole life, and now you finally are, and he's disappointed you terribly. But you have so much, you're such a fighter, and you're gonna get through it, and you don't need him, you never needed him. But you still, but it's like that dash of hope of like a lifetime. And so I think I wanted to see in the beginning a little more of you fighting that, like you're putting on the mask of everything's okay. But it's not okay, so and I think that the way to do that is really just, it's about emotionally preparing beforehand so that it means so much, so that the stakes are really high. I felt like the stakes got high as we went, but I didn't feel the level of stakes in the very beginning that I think that you're capable of doing. I think you're completely capable as an actress of bringing that. It wasn't quite there in the beginning. Also, just the technical thing, but I feel like you got a little bit lost in your pocket. Yeah, and that, a little bit worked for the character because she would be awkward, but what it read to me was that you as an actor didn't know what to do with your hands in that moment. And I think that also is, that wasn't an issue later on, and it's a testament, I think, to you not being completely grounded in the stakes of it in the beginning. But you have such an honest, purity and truth to your work, and it's really good. So don't lose that. Like the truth is the most. Truth and conviction are the two things you need the most, and vulnerability. Well, lots of things, heart, la la la. But but you have it. So keep it, and good hands. So keep it up.
There you go, Barry.
Yeah, I think you guys really hit it on the head here. You're adorable. I really like you a lot. I never was a big Neil Simon fan, and then I started to study with Uta Hagen, and Uta Hagen's favorite writer was Neil Simon. And she said that the reason that you're not a big Neil Simon fan is because you just don't see people do it right. And she was right. The people who really drop into Neil Simon, make Neil Simon a great writer. And you see Richard Dreyfuss, do Neil Simon, and you just get blown away. It's really great stuff. The thing with the pockets was your hands in your pockets. It wasn't a character choice. It was an actress trying to hide, and you have to be careful of that. I thought at the beginning you started off a little rough, and I think you started off a little rough because the nerves got to you, and that's okay, because I thought that once you dropped in, it was really it was great. So what we saw at the beginning was an actress trying to make some choices, but it was really a nervous actress. Once you dropped in, I thought it was really beautiful. I thought the work was really good, and I think in the end, the work saved you.
All right. Lizette, Santiago. Lizette, great job, Lizette. Okay. All right, the next actor for this evening, lovely young lady doing from the Ballad of the Landlord by Langston Hughes. Please welcome Fatimah Verrell.
Landlord, my roof has sprung a leak. Don't you remember I told you about it way last week? Landlord, these steps is broken down. When you come up yourself, it's a wonder you don't fall down. $10 you say I owe you. $10 you say is due. That's $10 more and I'll pay you till you fix this house up new. What? You gonna get eviction orders? You gonna cut off my heat? You gonna take my furniture and throw it in the street? You talking high and mighty. Talk on till you get through. Cause you ain't gonna be able to say a word if I lay my fist on you. Police, come and get this man. He's trying to ruin the government and overturn the land. Coppers whistle, patrol bell, arrest, precinct station, iron cell. Headlines in press. Woman threatens landlord, tenant hell, no bail. Judge give Negro 90 days in the county jail.
All right, Fatimah. All right. Yeah. Thinking Maya Angelou right there for a little bit. Sounded something like that. Let's go, Justin. Tell me about it.
Well, again, this is another case where I wish you hadn't rushed so much. But I think it's a case of nerves. Have you just started acting?
I don't know.
Maybe that's yes.
No, but look, I'm just happy to be here. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all get nervous. I mean, and even if you've been in the business for decades, nerves are a common thing, and you have to, trick yourself somehow. I ask that because I think you have wonderful natural instincts, and that is something that no one can teach you. But they can teach you technical things to help you, become more authentic. I bet that, given an opportunity to work on this a little bit more, break it down a little bit more, take your time a little bit more, and you would eat this landlord for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can see that that's in you. But you, not as the actor, but as the actress, didn't trust yourself enough. And you were rushing like you had somewhere else to go.
When she auditioned, she did. She took her time. She was like, she really did.
Well, this is
She
such
really
an
did.
odd,
Yeah.
I hope people,
Yeah.
watching understand. It's and they've said it repeatedly on these kind of shows, the judges, telling the audience that it all looks so easy when you're, sitting, on your sofa, and it's easy to critique. But it really is true, Last night, as I was, getting my stuff ready to come, I was thinking, God, at this hour, I wonder what, those 24 actors that we're going to see are are doing right now. How many of them are pacing around going, why did I do this? Why did I take this? Oh my God, I don't remember. What am I going to wear? I just did the monologue. I knew it 1 minute. I forgot it. I mean, it's so much. And then you come into the situation. It's not a natural situation, but that's part of the actor's job.
Yeah, you've got just great energy in general. You have like this young Queen Latifah quality to you that is, it's so genuine and affable and great. You're adorable.
Thank you.
I think that also I want to see you take your time more. This is a great piece. But this is a poem, right?
Yeah.
So that's the challenge with this, is that you're turning a poem into a monologue. So you have to work, the actor in you has to work a little bit harder in order to make this work, because it's not a speech in a normal traditional sense in a play. So you have to fill in a lot of details for us. And that starts with taking your time. That starts with having, a specificity to who this landlord is, and an opinion. You need a stronger opinion about this man. I get that you're upset with him, but we need to know why you're upset with him. Not necessarily that, it's in here, but it's got to be in your head, so that those thoughts, as you say these lines, are resonating in your eyes. And it's just really about doing more homework about who this person is and the BS that this landlord has put this person through.
Yeah, when somebody takes advantage of you,
Right.
How do you respond?
Right. So
and then
really
just take those words and make
taking
them
this
these.
person to task, and not and taking and really cornering them and challenging them. But it's really great to see great literature performed here, and such an original piece. I guarantee you most people aren't doing this, so it's a piece you can own that can be yours, and I think that's really cool, and it's such a perfect piece for you, and you have such a great smile, and just keep it up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Fatimah. Back a couple of years ago when I was in college, that wasn't funny. I was studying with a guy named Amiri Baraka, who's one of the great playwrights and poets of our time. And Amiri gave us a collection of Langston Hughes poems, including this one, because his favorite poet was Langston Hughes. I think this is a great piece. Now, the challenge here is exactly what these guys were saying, to take a poem and make it into an actable piece. I thought you did a really good job. I still think there's more that you can do. I think there's a lot more that you could do. I really, I saw the characters. I loved how you put the voice into the landlord, and you gave the voice to the landlord. This is a challenge. I think that given a monologue from a play, you would eat it up alive and you would kill it. And I think that's really what you should do next. But this is a challenge, and a fun challenge to do. And I think it was a good start, but there's still further that you need to go. What Justin said about taking your time was absolutely true. You could have doubled the time, and we would not have been bored in this.
Fatimah Eyes Verrell. Thank you, Fatimah. Thank you so much. All right, now the last performer for this evening. He is doing a piece from a play titled I Never Sang for My Father by Robert Anderson. Please welcome Eric A. Peterson.
That night I left my father's house, it was forever. I took the first right and the second left, and this time I went as far as California. Now Peggy and I, we visited him once or twice, and then he came to California to visit us. Well, his ankles were swollen and he had a fever, so we put him in the hospital, and he never left. The reason we gave, which he would never accept, was the swollen ankles. But the reality, hardening of the arteries, and years leading to total speechless senility, with all of his life just burning in his eyes. Well, when I would visit him, we would just sit and look at each other. His eyes would glaze over, and his nostrils just pinch with emotion. Well, I could never tell what the emotion was. Was it anger? Or love? Or regret? I don't know. Then one day, sitting in his wheelchair watching television without any comprehension, he died. Alone. Not even an orange in his hand. Death ends a life, but it does not end a relationship that struggles on in the survivor's mind trying to find some sort of resolution that is never, ever found. Then Alice. Alice said I would never accept the sadness of the world. What difference did it make if I never loved him or he never loved me? And maybe she was right. But still, to this day, when I hear the word father, it matters. It matters.
Eric A. Peterson. I want to give props to Eric because he actually came in pretty much last minute a few days before here when somebody dropped out, and he was more kind enough to take their place. So I really got to give props to Eric. Thanks so much for that. Let's find out what the judges thought of that, okay?
How's it going, Eric?
It's going good.
It's good to see you
I
again.
would present a different side this year. Than
I'm
last
glad you did. You know, it's a very flattering side, and it looks like, you know, you've done some work on your acting. Even though, you know, nerves got the better of you a bit, you know, you were more grounded and much calmer, more centered. And I just encourage you to, you know, keep going and keep working, because what wasn't clear for me today, I didn't get who you were speaking to specifically. I wanted more of the grappling to understand the insanely treacherous road that fathers and sons travel, and who's the father and who's the son at what stage of the game, and the mistakes that most of us make, because it's just assumed that if one is of a certain age, they have a certain wisdom or a certain capability of being paternal.
Yeah. What you were doing right is there was a real naturalness to what you brought to it, and you weren't pushing. You had honest moments, so that's all really good. But I agree with Justin on a lot of points. I didn't know who you were speaking to, and if it was, again, to the audience, then that needs to be a clear choice. Mm-hmm. Right now, it existed in this sort of like middle ground where I didn't know who you were talking to. So be specific, because the main reason you need to know who you're speaking with is because you want something from them. And in this monologue that you're giving, you're trying to get that thing from them. You need something from them to complete you on some level, just as we all do when we say anything in life. We're talking to someone because we need to make some sort of connection, or we need something. So if you make it about the other person, then you'll always know who you're talking to. The same with the people that you talk about. I didn't see any sort of distinction between Alice and Peggy. They could have been the same person. There was no life behind what you were saying that clued me in as to who that person was. So have a clear picture of who that person is, and you can do that through, you know, substitution, or you can create that person in your mind. But it needs to be specific, because right now it's very general. There were times when you were really paraphrasing. I mean, I know you went up on your lines, but I think in general too, there were a lot of moments where you weren't you are saying the gist of the line, but not completely the line. And to me, what that says is that you don't. I always hear people are always like, "Oh, I could never be an actor. It's so hard to memorize all those lines," you know. And yes, it is like that, but it starts there. So you have to know, I believe that you have to know your lines so well that you could say them running a marathon, that you could say them doing jumping jacks, that you could say them swimming in the ocean, you could say them in a million different ways, and you have to know them that well in order to give this, especially when nerves kick in and all the things that kick in. So you're doing a disservice to the playwright if you're just, you know the gist of the line rather than all the lines.
Yeah, especially in this piece, I think the lines are really important, and the lines that you dropped were really important. It's interesting. I think that the character doesn't always need to know exactly who he's talking to. The actor always needs to know exactly who he's talking to, or else it becomes general. And what happened here was that it became general because the actor didn't know who he was talking to. Eric needs to pick somebody to talk to here, and be specific. I also thought that nerves got in the way a little bit at the beginning. Whoever told you to do this piece was a genius. And thank you. And I think that you do a lot of drifting, you do a lot of looking down, a lot of looking around. And if the piece was more specific, Alice, Peggy, then you wouldn't do that.
Okay.
It would be more direct. So make your choices stronger and really follow through with your choices.
Eric A. Peterson. All right. All right, I'd like to have the other two actresses, Fatimah, Lizette. You can come out here and join us, please. Thank you. All right, everybody, this is the end of the show, and this is the end of the season. I want to thank Lizette, Santiago, Fatimah, Verrell, Eric A. Peterson. Judges, as always, thank you guys so much. Audience, thank you. The crew, thank you so much. If you guys want to get on the show, go to the website, www.chiefthespians.com or .net, and see if find out how you can get on. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time around. All right, bye-bye. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.